and 8,000 full-time jobs lost in the month of January. Also, a participation rate at 65.9%, which was a bit stronger than we probably expected. Now, we've got certainly some analysis coming up for you. Here in the studio with me, I've got Jason Cartwright from Randstad, Nina Mapson-Bone from Chandler McLeod, and Simon Boulton from Aequalis. Thank you all. And I'd love to start with what you're all seeing in that Queensland market, because obviously it's very difficult to get information from the RBS, but I'm quite interested in how you see that picture changing in the next couple of months with the rebuild. Start with you, Jason, you're closest to me.
I think what
feedback are you getting?
What we're seeing on the ground is pretty much an immediate stimulatory effect on the jobs market. So we've had an immediate uptick in job orders in obviously the insurance sector, and then we had an immediate uptick in job orders in the government sector, particularly in those payment processing areas. That was followed by a second wave of new job orders coming through, and obviously they are coming through in the building and construction sector, but also some of those corporate head office roles that support that infrastructure rebuild are now showing signs of coming through already. So much quicker than we anticipated, and certainly a stimulatory effect overall. Okay, and Nina, are you finding that all of that sounds like it's going to be a part-time boost, or I guess this is the question with the numbers as well. You know, is it just like a couple of months where you might see a boost to some of those sectors, and then they drop off, and then
what we're seeing is that it's the same. We're having an immediate impact in terms of the support and the rebuild, but we're also seeing projects that were perhaps postponed as a result of the floods and the cyclone. They're beginning to come back through. So I think where the short-term stuff has already kicked in, the project and the longer-term stuff is beginning to come through now as well. So I don't anticipate it having an overall negative effect.
Okay, and Simon?
I think there's going to be somewhat of a knee-jerk reaction to this. I think it's going to be an initial short-term sort of effect on the overall numbers. So we would think that over the course of the next 3 to 4 months, and certainly in the next quarter, perhaps those numbers having some effect on the ABS's total figures.
This is going to be interesting to try and detect how the ABS is going to read all of this now. What are you seeing in terms of, Nina, confidence amongst employers, maybe outside Queensland? Maybe we should look even ex-Queensland now, given that's kind of a different picture. What are you seeing in terms of the confidence of employers, but also whether that's matching up with the kind of conditions? Because this is the thing we're seeing in surveys. Confidence might say one thing, but conditions can be very different.
It's really interesting. We've come back from the Christmas break with a real surge in confidence. There's a lot of activity, a lot of action happening across our clients, and candidate expectations are significantly higher than they have been for a long time. There was a recent survey by Dun & Bradstreet that suggested it was, I think, the highest it's been in 7 years, and there's real wage pressure coming as a result, and the candidates are already there, but I think the clients are sort of still, the companies are still cottoning on to that, so that's going to be an interesting impact over the next few months.
Simon, how strong are the wage pressures at the moment, or is that a problem for down the track?
No, it is. We're already seeing signs of that. I think that that growth is going to continue. We've got to remember that we are facing a skill shortage. Again, it's been brought up many times, but that skill shortage automatically drives up the wages growth, and with that there's really the difficulty in managing more money in the economy, more spending power, confidence is up, and the inflationary pressures that brings with it. So it's a double-edged sword, these sorts of figures. It's something that I think needs to get a balanced view.
Jason, from what I understand, talking with recruiters, we might have a skill shortage, but you guys have a whole lot of trouble getting people even from offshore and placing them in positions to fill those spots that we so desperately need to fill.
Yeah, it is difficult. It's difficult attracting the right skill mix to Australian jobs. Australian employers tend to be reasonably prescriptive in the type of skill base they're looking for, in the type of knowledge and experience they're looking for, and oftentimes not as readily, they don't have the appetite to invest in training like some of the nations we compete with for that talent offshore. So yeah, there are sometimes challenges attracting talent to come to Australia. It is an attractive destination, but, as an economy, we do compete for labour on the global scale. And, certainly countries like Canada and some of the sort of emerging economies as well, we compete with labour as well. So,
Simon, is the industry getting anywhere in trying to tell the government that you need a bit of help in actually, less of the red tape and trying to fill these positions? Or
I think there is some pressure from our industry to particularly look at the visa situation. The skilled migrant visas and the 457 sponsored visas are ones that have really been put under pressure over the last 2 years, and the restrictions on those probably need to ease a bit. But you mentioned there the comparisons to the European market and North America. I think we've got to realise that North America has still got an unemployment rate of over 9%. The UK, again, got an unemployment rate well over the 7% mark. And in the UK, actually, there's been an uptick in unemployment, which was unexpected. So globally, I think we're faring very well. Sometimes we give ourselves a hard time. 95% of the population here have jobs.
Yep.
And sometimes the figures are put around the other way.
Nina? Any response to that?
Yeah, I would say it's really interesting because what we're also seeing anecdotally is that a number of the offshore candidates that we're trying to attract are entertaining multiple offers. So that's increasing the skills shortage issue, and with the immigration status and the visa status that we're in, we're really lacking that ability to bring those people on shore, and I think the more pressure we can exert to try and change that visa situation, the more it will help our economy.
And what about the kind of wages that they demand in that situation, knowing we've got a skills shortage, knowing they might have 3 job offers?
And they are absolutely using their power to put pressure on that, and that we're seeing a lot of upward pressure on the wages, particularly from international candidates.
You tend to see this lag effect with, we're talking about conditions earlier. You tend to see this lag effect with employers in reacting to the job market, and we're starting to see that now. I think in terms of the job market is tightening very quickly. There's upward pressure on wages, and there's certainly a lot more fierce competition in the job market. And as Nina said, candidates are entertaining multiple offers. There's a lag effect in employers reacting to that. Many employers haven't quite realised the job market's upticked that fast, and they're still in sort of more of a relaxed mode with their hiring. So.
I'll go further to say that complacency is creeping in. I think employers have had a period where any job's a good job, there aren't many jobs out there, we can employ who we wish to, and that fussiness and I guess sort of more pressing skills that they're looking for are starting to slack off. So I think it's still a very competitive job market.
Interesting year ahead for you guys. Thank you so much, Simon Boulton from Aequalis, Nina Mapson-Bone from Chandler McLeod, and also Jason Cartwright from Randstad. Thanks all of you. And we'll have some more analysis coming up at the top of the hour on the jobs numbers, the ABS figures. But for now, Street Sense is coming up after this break.